everyone, it's Hannah Fletcher. Welcome back to Muse. I am speaking with Kayden. I am so excited to be speaking with you. How are you? Happy Tuesday. Let's start there.
Happy Tuesday. No, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be speaking with you.
I'm so excited. So, first of all, I want to say congratulations. You're young, you have so much success, and I really enjoyed obviously, reading everything about you, and I've seen your work and I think you're very talented. And first of all, just
Thank you.
congratulations with everything like that. I love to see people like you that are just thriving and succeeding, booked and busy. We love to see it.
Oh,
Um,
thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. I would love to hear the moment that you found out that you had the opportunity to be on Disney, because that's something that I think is a very unique story. Obviously, it's extremely impactful in your life. That's kind of where I'd like to start with you. Take me back to finding out that you have this opportunity to be on, probably, I'm assuming, what you grew up watching your entire life, right?
Oh yeah. I was a Disney Channel kid. I loved all the DComs. I loved all the shows, all the multicams. So, when I got the call from my team is very funny. They like to play jokes on me sometimes. And in this case, with this job, they were like, you better sit down because we have some news. You're gonna be having Taco Bell because you booked the job on Disney Channel. And I literally just fell to my knees and started crying. The Taco Bell thing is like an inside joke between me and my team. Basically, they had never had Taco Bell before, and I was like, okay, cool. When I book my first big role, we're gonna all eat Taco Bell together. So at first they sat me down, like acting like I didn't get it, and I was gonna be like, dang it, okay, next job. But no, they told me I got it, and I just started crying because it was like happy tears, of course. But
Right.
I've been auditioning for Disney since I started acting. I was 13, so 18 years, yeah, so almost like 5 years I was auditioning for them. And to finally have that moment of being on one of their shows was just amazing and a dream come true for sure.
That's iconic. Also, I love, thank you for including the Taco Bell portion of that
Of
story,
course.
because that's why these moments are so unique and so interesting, because obviously it means so much to you, but also it's just that's an awesome story.
Thank you. Yeah, it's just a little inside joke between my team, but I just think it makes it just extra funny because it's just yeah, they finally had Taco Bell and I finally got my big moment. It was a win-win.
I was gonna say,
So
did they get the Taco Bell then? I'm assuming that was like a
we
turnaround.
did we
Right?
did we had a Taco Bell party. It was really fun. Like all the Baja Blast freezes and the cinnamon twist, the nacho fries. It was great. Chalupas everywhere.
That's amazing. I love that so much.
Sorry,
Obviously,
just being silly.
you're you are so fine. You've had a lot of success, obviously, with your show, and then you find out that you are renewed for a second season, and now that is being shown to all of your fans all across, the world, which is iconic. What was it like knowing that you get to come back and work with all of your co-stars and step back into the shoes of your character? Getting a season renewal is that's just as big, in my opinion, as booking the job.
Yeah.
You can never take that for granted unless you know it ahead of time, and even then,
Yeah.
still, who knows?
100%. I mean, yeah, getting the call for season two, it's so great. I mean, on season one, we all got so close. We feel like family. I mean, the cast, the crew, everybody. We were spending, what, 8 months together, 5 days a week. We were like basically seeing each other more than our family. So
Yeah.
we became each other's family. So to come back to season two, it felt like it was almost yesterday that we shot season one, and then we got right back to it. We were always pranking each other, having so much fun on set. It's a multicam show, so it's really fun, and we're always laughing and doing really cool action shots and having a good time. So to come back again and also work on our characters and see them grow and get to have even more action filled scenes was such a blast, and we just got to laugh even more than season one.
Amazing. What I
Yeah.
think is very interesting with Disney is, I grew up in that generation where I'm a little bit older than you are, so
Mm.
I'm sure we saw the same shows. But one
Yeah.
thing that was very interesting is with my generation, we kind of started to age out. I was a little old to watch it, but I still did all of the Descendants. My generation
Yeah.
was out the door for that. But also, in my defense, I was working with children, and I wanted to date with everything. And also, the songs are really catchy. But
I watched all the Descendants movies. I'm not judging. Like even my age group, none of my friends have watched the Descendants films, but I've watched
really,
them religiously. I love them. I think
they're
they're
really
so
good.
good.
They're that's
Kenny kills it. Every
right.
time Kenny kills it. He never he
Right.
never fails.
It's iconic.
Sorry.
I know it's
Yes.
okay. Every night on like a Friday night, like if I find myself home and not doing anything, that's like my little secret, like guilty pleasure. I'll put on like the second one, I'll mix it up, you know?
Me too.
What I think is really interesting about that though is the idea that like I love that Disney started teetering into like the villain territory. And I think that that's really fun and like the but villains, but not in like a god awful way. They're like
Yeah.
you obviously you know what I'm talking about. And I'm curious to know your show. What was it like having the opportunity to like, you know, you're tapping into the villain side of things. Like, what is that like as an actor too, playing with the push-pull balance? Because we know that like the idea of a villain is like, that's rough. But then you have the Disney villain, which is obviously a lot more like bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not rough.
Yeah.
You know, what is that push-pull process like with being an actor and obviously like diving into that and what that character development looks like on set?
Yeah, of course. So for at least for season 2, I guess we can say season 1, I feel like was really about like establishing our characters, like figuring out their personalities, their morals, and all of that. And I feel like we really solidified that in season 1 and had this big cliffhanger that really led us into season 2. And working with villains, my character Hartley, she's very sunshine, rainbows, enthusiastic, charismatic, like loves people in her community. So having that pull between a really good person and a family of evil villains was a really funny dynamic to play on screen. I will say, growing up a Disney Channel kid, our show was pretty dark for Disney Channel, but I think they did it in a tasteful way, meaning like, our characters would have these really kind of evil thoughts, and then Hartley would have to come in and be like, hey, did you notice that this is not normal? Like, no, that's not good. And then they would have like that enlightening moment of like, oh, maybe like I can become a better person and not have those thoughts or like do those actions anymore. So, having that dynamic was really cool. And especially with Isabella Pappas, who plays Amy, our characters really almost kind of meshed and became each other at moments. Like there were some really evil scenes with Hartley. Like she ended up getting powers and kind of took over and got on this power rush and was like, I'm never going to give you your powers back. This is the best thing ever. So even Hartley, like the evil kind of rubbed off on her from the villains, but she also, with her positive energy, she also rubbed off on Amy and Jake and the whole family and really showed them how to just be a normal family, not always have to be these evil villains fighting and messing with people. So, Hartley did get to show off a bit of her evil side throughout season 1 and season 2, which was really fun to play. But we all really had to find like a good balance and do it in a tasteful way where like nobody was too evil and still, had a human side to them. But then Hartley wasn't also too happy all the time because she had to deal with these really dark moments and kind of have to be evil in order to save the people that she cares about. So
Definitely.
That was really long, but
it's thorough, and that's what I like. It's thorough, and it's honestly, I think it's a great idea to be able to like the way that you phrased it like that, and even with Disney and the writing and everything. And one thing that I've always loved about Disney is it's like they have such a great way of being able to kind of like comment on the relevancy of the times that we're in. And it's a world that we live in right now where it's like you do have the people that are very much like your character and that are like, hey, we don't need to be like that, like the optimist, but then having the outweigh of the people that are like, yeah, but it's easier to kind of choose like a different path. I love that Disney's always been able to kind of do that. Like it's kind of like when I was watching Descendants, like we mentioned earlier, from back in the day, I was like, oh my gosh, there's actually a lot of like commentary in here that's like really deeply rooted and deeply layered. That's probably going to go over a 10-year-old head. But as a 25-year-old woman, I'm like, I get it.
Yep. And that's
like,
what I love about a lot of Disney Channel's multicam shows, even like Wizards of Waverly Place. There were so many jokes in there as well that I did not notice when I was a kid, but now that I'm older rewatching it, I'm like, oh my God, that is hilarious. I'm like, even what was the show Stuck in the Middle was a little bit, that was, I feel like the generation after me, but even their like show was like, that was actually single cam. I know that wasn't multicam, but they just have these jokes sometimes that like really connect with like the older teenagers and the adults and that we understand and like we hear as kids. But like now that we're older, we're like, oh my gosh, this really, we can use it in our own life and kind of connect with it more than we could when we were kids. So, and I always love the little jokes that always, even like back in the day with like Hannah Montana, that was
My
my show
God.
growing up, and Pair of Kings. Those two
I love
shows, that Pair of Kings was great. Like those jokes, just like now watching it back, I'm like, oh, this is amazing. I'm
right.
like, I enjoy this more now than I did when I was a kid.
You're like, listen, it's like you just are constantly on like a little hunt and you just find new little Easter eggs every single time that you go back and you watch it and as you evolve and
Exactly.
grow throughout life. And I love that so much. I think that that's
Yeah.
why I've always been such a lover of Disney and even just like of like that whole generation of TV shows and everything like that. I just think that the writing is so incredible. I love that
Yeah.
obviously you're a part of this whole family. I think it's so great
Yeah.
and so monumental.
It's like a Disney Channel fan becoming like a
Right.
Disney Channel character, which is like a really full circle moment. But I'm so grateful to be a part of the Disney family. They're great for
It's
sure.
great. You exude
Yeah.
it very, very much. And I think that it's wonderful that you're obviously so grateful and obviously being a fan too is
Yeah.
even better, of course. Very
Yeah.
well deserved. I
Yeah.
would
Thank you.
I would love to kind of branch off and talk about music for you, which is obviously this is a huge factor in your life. You just released
Yeah.
an EP. Like talk to me all about
Yeah.
music, what it means to you. What was your process with this EP? And obviously, like where do you see yourself taking your music
Yeah.
career? Any aspirations that you have in regards to all of that?
Ah, music.
I
Where
love it.
to start? I'm like, where to even start with this? Me and music. Oh, sorry, my phone just cut out. Okay, there we go. Yeah, me and music have a very interesting and amazing relationship. We have been best friends for a very long time. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, so I started my musical journey, I'd say kind of in middle school. As I said, music did become my best friend because I got bullied pretty bad and I didn't have like too many friends growing up. So I spent a lot of time at home, like on the farm with my horses, and in my free time, I would just like be in my room. I love to write and stuff. So I would like journal and write poetry, and I would slowly start singing, and that those poetry like turned into songs. And I really just found a passion for it. I was like, wow, like I really enjoy singing. And my mom, I sang for my mom. I did a little performance, and she was like, okay, maybe you really could do this. So I mean, in our small town, our next step would be like musical theater. So then I found out that I could do not only singing but also acting as well. So that's kind of where my passion for acting kind of happened as well. And they both kind of split and are like next to each other, if that makes sense. They like mesh really well in my career, I definitely will say. But yeah, that I went out to LA for acting, and I ended up getting a manager who introduced me to a producer, Dustin Atlas. And he's the one that I made Kiss Kiss Baby with, Walk, Crave, My Baby. So all the songs that are on my EP, and honestly, most of the songs that I have released. And he really taught me like musical structure, how to produce music, and how to sing into a mic like with headphones. It's very different than like live performing. So really getting that technical stuff while I still had like the really, you know, um, still like the passionate side of music where like I just want to sing and belt like I did in musical theater. So, kind of moving into the business side, like the music industry was a big step, like a really big step from what I was doing prior in like Florida, just like doing little live performances. But I got the opportunity to just really be creative with my own music and go where I wanted. And I, with at least my songwriting, it comes from a really personal place. I really like to, I don't know, when I'm feeling conflicted with my emotions and I don't know what to do with myself, I just tend to like write it down in a notebook and write it into lyrics, and we turn them into songs, and they end up being these like really cool songs that we release and have like little music videos too. And I've had fans like, text me and say like that they really connect with the music because like they had the same situation happen to them, like a boy that they liked and it didn't end up working out. So I like to write a lot of my songs based off of my personal experiences and make it like a story so people can really just relate to it and almost feel like they're experiencing my situation through the music, but then also have like the really fun beats where you get to like dance around and have a good time and like vibe out in the car while like driving to the beach or something. But the EP specifically, Unraveled, a
Mhm.
lot of those songs, like My Baby, Crave, they were about people that, I didn't know how to tell them my feelings and my emotions, and I didn't know what to say. So I really just wrote those songs and like unraveled my feelings onto the page. And that's kind of how we got that title, that like each song is really me just getting those feelings out of my system and explaining to those people exactly how I felt at that time.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, and then it turned into an EP somehow. We just liked all of them and released it. And yeah, it comes from a really personal place and really allowed me to also heal and move on from those situations as well.
That's incredible. Would you say
Yeah.
that with music, I know I've heard a lot of singers and songwriters mention that like music is like not necessarily equivalent to therapy, but most definitely their form of therapy. And I
Mhm.
mean, arguably maybe the substitute for actually having to sit and speak with a therapist. Would this arguably be your therapy as well?
Music is 1,000% my therapy. I don't think I would have been able to get through middle school and high school without music.
Mhm.
Whether it was writing my own music or listening to other artists, music just is more, there's something about it that's just so much more powerful than having a conversation with somebody else. Just there's something about it that I think is so healing that like that's different than like talking with your friends or family or finding support. Music just has this power that really can just heal you internally, if that makes sense. I don't know how to explain it.
No, I completely, I mean, I am not musically inclined myself, but I will say, I mean, I have a ton of respect for it, the art. I think it's incredible. But I will say that I totally agree with you in terms of the idea of the catharsis that it can bring and
Yeah.
obviously how it can make you feel. And it's incredible. I wish I was musically inclined because I feel like I could definitely feel the same exact way, but I know the emotions and the relief that I get even just from listening to music. So I can't imagine what it's like to be able to not only listen, but to also be able to create craft and get that out there for the world. I think it's amazing. I also want to say I just loved your vibe. I try not to say
Thank
that
you.
word very often because I
Yeah.
so like watered down. But I do you have such a an air of gratitude to you and you're just so excited about life and I can tell that just by speaking with you. If you
Thank
could give
you.
any advice for those in life that are looking to be grounded, especially with you and your schedule, I mean with filming and singing and songwriting and everything like that. I'm sure you're busy. What is the secret to staying grounded and continuing to possess that gratitude, especially with all of the chaos of all of the success, the positive chaos of the success that's
Yeah.
going on for you?
Yeah, I will say I don't like to hide it. I'm not a perfect person. I've been very enthusiastic since I was a little girl, very happy and giddy. I've always, just loved life, loved animals, loved
I love it.
people. So, I've had my ups and downs. I'm 21 years old. I'm still learning
Yeah.
constantly, and I think that that really is the message. Be open to just continually growing throughout life. Even I feel like in my head when I was a kid, I thought that there was a certain age that I would hit and I'd be like, okay, now I'm an adult now and I know everything, and life is going to work and just be great from this moment. But I kind of realized I was like, life is endlessly evolving and you always really need to be open to it and be positive about it, because if you start to like have a negative outlook about things, it doesn't help you in any way, shape, or form. So I just try to keep a positive outlook, have a good support system around you, people that make you happy and motivated, and that you feel like you can support each other and lift each other up and grow together. And that's honestly it for me. At least I just keep a really good circle of people around me. I try to go on hikes and do things that I've never tried before and explore with my music and my acting and try new characters and classes, and yeah, really just be open to new experiences and try to have a positive outlook on everything. That's
I
what's
love
helped me.
I love that so much. I think that that is such a
Yeah.
great piece of advice and thank you for sharing that because I think that we live in a world right now where it's so hard to find positivity no matter like that optimistic positivity that just kind of like has to inherently just live in you and even
Yeah.
some days you just have to kind of dig down and really get to that again and be like, look,
Mhm.
yeah, I just it did today's not going my way, but I'm still just going to choose to try and be optimistic and to see the silver lining. And I love that, like, I can tell that that's what you stand for. The same. And I just think it's so awesome. I think we need so much more of that in this world. So thank you for also not only being such a great actress and just a great human, and obviously a very talented singer and songwriter as well, but
Thank you.
for standing for positivity as well, and for being that for your fans, because it's very important. It's so important.
Thank you so much. You're gonna get me all emotional. I'm like, Jesus.
I know. I'm like, that's emotional too. This is good.
I'm like a baby, so I'm like, people don't normally say this stuff to me, so it's really thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's so evident, and I need you to know that nonetheless, because it's so great. And I identify very heavily with people like you, and that's the person. You're exactly the type of the person that I strive to be every single day that I wake up and I choose to be here and to do this job. And I love that that's what you stand for. It's so important. It's so
Thank you.
yeah,
that's exactly what I'm going for. I'm like, that's
you're doing it, and you're
sorry.
doing it.
I'm like not trying to get emotional. I'm just like a little baby. I'm like, thank you.
You're so sweet. You're adorable. Well, Kayden, it has been such a pleasure speaking with you. If you have anything that you would like to tease that's upcoming, obviously without giving anything away, any spoilers away for your fans that they can look forward to. I know season 2 is out and about, but I would love to give you the floor to be able to plug yourself. Anything that you would like, go for it.
Yeah, so I have a new single coming out soon on May 22nd called Don't Come Back to Me. I also love spoilers, so I really, 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 really want to tell everybody what's going on. But I will say I am working on my album right now, so that should maybe be done by the end of the year. I don't know, but that is in the works, and I'll give a little bit of a teaser. I really want this album to be something like I've never fit in one box my entire life, and that's what I want this album to really represent. Kind of just taking inspiration from all different genres and putting it into one place, kind of like a melting pot, which is kind of what I think I am. So this album is really a next step into this new genre and this new era for me. That's like kind of a little less pop and more alternative. So I'm really, really excited for everybody to hear what's coming, and hopefully it'll be released by the end of the year. So that is it.
Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, of course.
That's incredible. Well, I'm so looking forward to that. And obviously when everything does get finalized and everything is like out and rolling and you're doing publicity in terms of that, I will definitely be speaking to you about the whole process and the album. I would love to do like a deep dive and a breakdown on that. I love that.
Please, I would absolutely love to. I absolutely loved this interview and speaking with you for a bit. It was great.
You're so sweet. Well, Miss Kayden, go ahead and plug your social media accounts to our audience so they know where to stay up to date with everything with you.
Awesome. All of my social medias are at Kayden Muller, KaydenMuller.
Thank you so much again for speaking with us. I so appreciate you and your time, and I cannot wait to speak with you again.
Thank you. You as well. You're amazing. Hopefully I'll see you soon.
Definitely.